Hello everyone and welcome back to our Moneyball series with Paris FC. So off camera, we have done alright. We have to be in the top three, actually, is what they said. We have to be in the top three to keep the board happy, as it says on our club vision. Yeah, it says here, finish in the league's top 3 places. So it's not the top 2, despite the fact that's what promotion is. So what it looks like, and from what I understand, that Liga 1 is going to go on to 18 teams from next season onwards. And the way that we can confirm this, if we go on to the top league again, and they have it. So click on current season, go to the next season, and there you are. So only 18 teams. So that's what the confusion is. So that's why the top division has 4 teams going down, but only 2 teams are going up. So there is no playoff. It's going to be just us, whoever 2 goes up. But the boards, even though they want promotion, they're accepting third place as acceptable. That's interesting to know. So just so you're all aware, that's what the expectation is from the board to be in top 3. And if we win our game in hand over Le Havre here, will go above them. So, and we're pretty close anyway. So pretty close, top 4 at the moment in the old race there. But yeah, we've had 5 draws, 1 defeat. The rest have been wins. A lot of goals scored, a lot of goals against is basically what I would say so far, which is pretty much what we've seen on camera. And yeah, today's episode is going to go a little different. So normally we have the matches at the end of the episode, and that's sort of where we recap, see you next time sort of thing, right? This time it's going to be a bit different. What we're going to do in today's episode is we are going to do the 2 games right now, and then we're going to do a deep dive and go through all of the stats at this stage so far. So this is going to be the halfway point of the season for us because it's a winter break. It's not quite halfway. It's not going to be quite halfway. It's going to be 15 games played by the time we go into the winter break. But it's a good time, a good stopping point for us to have a little review of our player stats, our team stats, and then comparing them to the other teams in the division, both teams that are above us, and also what we can look at as the baseline stats from FM Stag and see who's performing above or below those sort of baseline stats. And maybe use those as a bit of a reference point for us, even though we're in the second tier of French football. Hopefully that works out for everybody. So let's get into the 2 games. Let's see how we do. And let's just see what the picture is after the 2 games, because we could be top, we could be clearly 4th and out of it, and anything in between. So let's see how we do. It's been a roller coaster off camera like it has been always with this save so far. I'm looking forward to it. So Bastia, then Metz. Let's get into the first one. I have sold Hannon over here. So we've got a bit of money to spend in January, about 200 grand. The wages will be covered by him leaving. So we'll have a bit of money, not loads. And I may try to sell a couple of the players as well, just to get a bit of money in so we can buy at least 1 striker here. I'm actually moving off of Inglés as a central defensive field player. Somebody did reach out to me in the comment section and did tell me how to pronounce this name. I think it's Piri is how you pronounce this name. So apologies if I butchered that. But Piri, I think it's Piri. So I think we'll go with that. Piri in here, in CDM. He's going to go into the first team because it looks like he's been doing pretty well when he's played off camera. And yeah, that's going to be the team. Let's get into the game. I mean, Hadjam could get dropped, I suppose. What's his dribbles per 90 like, Hadjam? It's actually not too bad, is it? It's actually quite similar to Kofi's. What's his creative stats like? I know we can look at this in a second. I'm just curious. Because I feel like for us to get better going forwards, he should be dropped. But to be fair, it's defensive that's the problem anyway. So maybe that's not the problem to look at. I'm just noticing there a big 63% header one ratio. That's not going to be in the baseline stats. Guarantee a lat. Old Samir. Here we go then. Oh, here it goes. Here we go then. Oh, here it goes. We have got the pink kit again, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait for this. Guaranteed win. No danger. Get out, Bastia. This game's over. Assistant manager says, we've been on a good run. Got there and impressed me. Okay, cheers, Tom. Cheers, Tom, for that. But no need to say anything to the lads. Game's over. It's pink kit. Here we go then. First highlight. Goalkeeper's got it. He's going to send it long. Whoever gets the second header is going to get the highlight, I reckon. 1. Oh, dear. Not great. Oh, dear. Wow. It was their highlight, but they didn't score. So we are calamitous at the back, aren't we? I know you're going to say, Jack, drop the defensive line. Your tactics are a joke. I know, but it's working well enough so far. That's what the main thing is. And actually, who's up front? Oh, I haven't got Gory up front. Oh, bollocks. I've got the wrong striker up front. Coffee. If he scores, I'm a genius. Morgan. But it doesn't matter because Morgan's up front. We need 1 striker up front. Morgan scores. 1 of the Paris. Pink kit continues. I mean, this Coffee or Kofi to Morgan combination is like the best in world football. Look at this. Whips it in Kevin De Bruyne across from almost like a half space sort of zone. And Morgan at the far post. 1-0 to Paris. Oh, we've just gone top of the league. If results stay as they are, Paris FC go top of the league. Come on, boys. Here we go. We're going to get them. We're going to get PSG. Coffee goes in. Loses it. Useless. We win it back. Hadjam wins it. Good defending. Morgan scores because he's amazing. Oh, he has. He's squeezed in at the far post. Morgan's done it. It's 2-0 to Paris. And that is going to be game over because we're wearing the pink kit. Come on. Love it. Yeah, they're starting to piss around with it at the back, thinking they're prime Barcelona. And they lose it to Hadjam. Hadjam says, there you go, Morgan. I trust you. I trust him as well. Great finish. 2-0. Free kick is taken by them. It's headed in. We've won the first and the second one, which means it's going to be our highlight. Here we go. Cabal's got it. Cabal goes through. Cabal goes through. It's a penalty, referee. It's a penalty. Get the red card out. Send him off. Or at least get the yellow out. Doesn't matter. Morgan scores. Hat-trick. Where are Bastia? So if Bastia would have won this game against us, they would have been 6th. They're like a top mid-table kind of team, I would say. So this is a really good win. Well, the game's not over yet. So far, it's a good result. Result indicates it's a good scoreline. Okay, let's just say it's a good scoreline so far. As whatever that is, oh my Christ, it's 3-1. But it's going to be Kofi. It's the pink kit. It's Morgan, and it's 4-1. There it is. It's game over. He scored 4. How many has he got? I'll wait till the end of the game. But Morgan must have scored, I don't know, 16 goals this season already. Like, he's on fire. He's on fire. It's unbelievable. It's the pink kit, though. It's just the pink kit. Not the tactics. I've actually just taken Morgan off. That's how far in front we are and how confident it's been. If there was a score right now, I'd get a little 4-2 coming right now. Hajam could have got sent off as well. It's going to be 4-2. There you go. So another highlight not long after the goal. I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. We're not great at seeing out games. Well, I know we are, but if we concede before the 78th minute when I'd go defensive, I'm concerned then. Please, no. Just take a red. I'd rather take a red card here. Take a red. Just shoot. Oh my goodness, that was close. Play him in there. There's 2 of them there, Hajam. Hajam, what we doing here, son? There was 2 of them there in space. Try it now. Hajam, you're just making it too complicated, mate. You're lucky. What was that, Chiri? Come on. Throwing here, Lopez throws it into Benawa. Back to Lopez. Whacks it far post. It's cleared away. Chiri's going to get to this, is he? Nope. Now the left back does, just left centre back, sorry, does. Hajam now has it, plays it into Gory, cleared away again, a bit direct from both sides. And they're going to get the ball, and Iglesias wins it. Good lads. Played through into Hamill. Hamill's through, scores 5-2. Game over now. Surely now it's game over. Right then, first game's down. That is a 5-2 victory for Paris. That puts us top of the league. And editor Jack, please put it on the screen. It is pink kit. Play 2, 1-2, draw none, lost none. Unbelievable. 5-2 victory, and I'll see you in 7 days for the Mets game. We could finish the episode and finish the sort of first half of the season top of the league. What an unbelievable start to the season it's been. Honestly, when we first started, I got a bit concerned at how much pressure the board were going to put on the team in the save, really, but we might have got through the tough periods. See you in 7 days. Okay, for this game then, we have got Fury or Piri and Lafort both out, which isn't great, so Ndai and Iglesias both come back into the team. And we'll play against Mets. Now, Bordeaux did actually win their game in hand, so they've gone top of the league by 1 point. But as far as I'm concerned, top 2 promotion would be absolutely fine with me. I'm happy with that. Obviously, I'd like to win the title. I think in this situation, it's just a case of just get there any way you can. Get that promotion any way you can and get yourself up and worry about the rest of it later on. That's all we need to care about here. So let's just get ourselves up and at least finish today's episode in 2nd place. It'd be nice to be top, though. I don't know who Bordeaux play. I didn't check that, so we'll see what happens anyway. Assistant manager says, pick up where you left off. Okay. We're playing against the Mets. Oh, by the way, I did think, actually, in hindsight, being a New York Mets fan and doing this as a Moneyball save, I could have been Mets, couldn't I? FC Mets. But yeah, so there you go. If you're looking to be a team and you're thinking about who to be, there's an option right there. Be the Mets. Anyway, Kevin's got the ball. Morgan's got it, goes through, plays it across. Hemel, the far post. I've accidentally left him in the team again. It's great team selection by me. It's 1-0 to Paris. And I'm not going to lie to you, I completely forgot to take him out. He should be out the team, really. He's a problem away from home because when we counter slightly more, he hasn't got the pace to sort of like break in behind. And here he's not, the pace has got nothing to do with it. He's just at the far post because Morgan's done all the hard work. Let's take a look at latest scores, actually. Let's take out the visualizing come off. Latest scores. Bordeaux are currently at home to somebody, so they're going to win. They could draw. They have drawn a lot. Sebis for Mets then. They've got the ball out to Maziz, whoever that is. They play it into... Oh, you've got to be shitting me, referee. Samir. I'm telling you, Samir, you're starting to piss me off. You can't win any headers. You give away penalties. You don't get good match ratings. 1-1. Hajam with a throw. Throws it into Cabal, who's going to take a few touches. Plays it in Dai, whacks it forwards. It's going to be headed down. Oh, no, we've lost the ball. So give me the highlight. Is it? Please don't be their highlight. Come on, boys. They're going to play it across to play into a spare man. They've got time and space all over the shop. Yeah, I really need to get Gory on the pitch, even though Hamill did score. Hamill, is he going to win this? What are you doing, Hamill? Get your foot in there, son. Come on. Put a foot in. Don't let him cross. Well, at least did half a job. Goes back in. Cleared away. Morgan's going to go up and get smashed in the air. They're going to carry on their attack. We look pretty all set here, though. Are we going to win this? No, it gets him behind. 2-1. We'll say dig into the lads. I'm going to take him off straight away as well, Pierre up front. That's probably cost us a little bit. That's annoying. It's my own fault again. It's because I have like a first team set at the start of the season just so I can quick select. But I have like a team selector ready where I just save the first team and I haven't updated it with him out the team. And so when I when I go to like quick select and I put first team in, it has him up front naturally, like as a default, which obviously I don't actually want. Gory's in. Gory scores. That's what I needed from you, Gory. Good lad. That's why you should be in the team. 2-2. Come on, Paris. Right, we've gone to our 4-2-4 to try and get a goal. We need a goal desperately. Come on, 15 minutes to go. There's going to be a highlight. This is a really risky thing to go to, but I feel like we need to get a goal. And we need to risk losing it to try and win it, I think. Coffee gets it, plays it back into Banawa. Banawa has it. Just needs to play it forwards. Don't dribble with it too long. Good. Plays into Gory. He's through. He's going to play across. He's going to shoot. It's Calamas. Gomez. Morgan. And he scored again. He's done it again. Morgan scores his 18th goal of the season. Paris go 3-2 up. And come on, Paris. Can we hold it out? What a goal. Well, not like a great team goal, but like, you know, what a moment to score is how I should have phrased that, because the fact that they're absolutely calamitous and absolutely balls it up is it's not a great goal, is it? It's you know, it's good for us. Highlight for the Mets. They go into the box. We clear it away. It goes back in again. We clear it away again. We're going to get to this. Gory gets it. Plays it to Morgan a little too direct. I've got counter unticked, right? So if we go back to like the last episode, that sort of scenario, you expect the wing backs and the DMs to really like support this immediately, but nah, they're just going to stay there in their shape, nice and easy. It may not make any difference for this highlight. They might score anyway, but at least they weren't throwing themselves forwards. What is that, Hadjam? That was awful, mate. That's right. You two go and press. He sets in here. Come on, slide across. See, we look all right there. Don't get done in behind. No. What a save. What are we doing? Left centre back. Corner's whipped in, headed away. Coffee, get to it. Don't let him cross it. Oh, what is he doing? Coffee, there's a time and place for that. If you want to kick them here, please, mate. Well away from the goal. This is dangerous. Right. I'm worried about these two. It feels like a 2v1 there. Is it actually a 2v1? It is. Right there. Oh, in the highlight. Good decision. Match engine. Love that. Yes. Big 3-2 win there for Paris. I wasn't worried at all in that game. That was close. Like, every game's been like that, I feel like. Off camera, almost every game you've seen where it's been like a 1-goal win has been like that. That is our halfway point. There is another cup game which nobody cares about. That's going to be in a few days' time, but it's the end of the league sort of campaign for the first part of the season, not quite half, as we said before. So 15 games played. Let's go through the stats at the end of the league so far and see how we've been doing. Right then, let's have a look at team detailed stats first. So average possession, we're quite far down on that. I'm not as bothered about the team stats because I know how this tactic plays. Yeah, I'm not too bothered about team stats, actually. Because in football, different styles of football can give you such different variable results, and you can win in so many different ways than other sports. It's hard to like compute all of that into like one way, but and we're quite like a mixed tactic. So there's going to be periods of the season where we dominate possession fairly well, then periods where we really don't, and then periods where we're really bad defensively, then other periods where it's sort of like quite normal. So I'll just pick out some like of the standout ones here for you. So we've got the most goals in the league. Goals per game is also obviously us. Expected goals over performance goes to Bordeaux. We are second on that. Expected goals for is 27. Non-penalty XG is 26. I mean, that's quite an impressive stat. Non-XG goals per 90, 1.77. And Bordeaux are top with 1.06. Like, that's a massive difference. I mean, as long as our defending isn't terrible, let's look at that next, actually, go straight to the defending. Okay, so let's take our XG. So our expected goals for is 27.28, right? And Bordeaux's is 17.50. Now, let's have a look at the expected goals against. So our XG against is 18.49 and Bordeaux's is 10. Now, what you can do is actually see the league table yourself, an XG league table. So if you click on the league that you're playing in, go onto the league table where it says here and click XG table. Now, what that will show you is it will show you the XG for and against for all the teams and expected points. And it shows you your XG and then how much you're over or underperforming it, right? That's what it shows you here. So Bordeaux have got an extra 8 points from what they're expected to get. We've only got a +6. So they are overachieving more than we are. So effectively, you think eventually that's going to come back down to earth for them and they're going to end up getting that evened out. So I did do my own calculation between just us and Bordeaux. That's very important here. So the calculation is XG for minus XG against. So when we calculate that between us and Bordeaux, our XG for minus our XG against gives us an 8.79. Their XG for and their XG against is 6.61. Now, XG isn't everything in how games go. Lots of teams have won games with low XG and opposition have really high. It's not a be-all and end-all. It's just an indicator, right? It's just one tool, one piece of analysis for us to use in our stats here. In our team stats, at least. So I just thought it might be interesting to show you amongst all our team stats here. in a lot of categories, Bordeaux are below us, which I'm pretty hopeful for. But I mean, I think our success is really beholden on players like Morgan being fit and firing, whereas I feel like that they're a lot more stable of a team, so they could afford to lose 1 or 2 players here and there. They could still continue at their current level. But if we can avoid injuries and then maybe recruit, just one striker, something like that, I think we might be able to sustain a promotion challenge. I do think the Bordeaux are probably going to beat us to the title, but if we can still get second, that's all we need to go up. That's all we need. And all we need is third to not get sacked, from what I understand. Okay, so let's look at our own player stats here for a second. So, what stands out to us? Let's look at the back three. I'm only going to look at the starting 11 pretty much. Maybe some of the subs that have played quite a lot, like, for example, Pierre, who's up front there. Let's put the first team in. Let's make sure Gory's actually in his normal position. And that's our team there. So let's have a look at the 3 centre-backs. What stands out to us about that? So if we look at Sammy here, if we compare him to the top players in Europe in the top leagues, he has a tackles per 90 of 1.48. So a high player, a good level player would have 2.83. Average with 1.29 and terrible with 1.0. He's above medium, which is okay, I suppose, for that. Headers 1 per 90. Again, he's slightly lower than medium this time. Clearances per 90. I mean, that depends on your team a little bit, I think. But, the fact that he's not clearing it often, I'm not sure necessarily means it's bad. So there's a lot of factors with that. Interceptions per 90 is massively high, which is good. Blocks per 90 is quite low. And progressive passes per 90 is okay, actually. Quite a decent amount there. But see, there's one thing there that I haven't seen and that's really important to me, and that's headers 1 ratio. So this stat right here, headers 1 ratio. What is your headers 1 ratio compared to your other players? So as you can see, Samir is absolutely woeful in the air. That's really, really poor. And does it say that it's a weakness for him? So there is poor heading ability, means he's never likely to be useful in aerial situations, and fairly poor in the air, it says there for Samir. And we see that, don't we? We see that in the stats that we're seeing, so that's fair enough. That links up well with what the coach is saying, what he does. So let's take Dabila, because Dabila is the opposite to Samir. Dabila's really good in the air. So is there something that Samir does that Dabila doesn't? And they do play one on the side, one in the middle, so we have to factor that in as well. So dribbles per 90, Samir's got loads more because he plays on the side. So that's why you're seeing a big difference in dribbles per 90 between the... So that's why you're going to see a huge difference in dribbles per 90 between the middle centre-back and the side ones there. Tackle 1 ratio. So Samir is much better than middle centre backs. That's something that Samir has that Dabila doesn't. So there's something there. So Samir's tackle 1 ratio is 81%, and Dabila's is only 76. So that's the transition, or the not the transition, but that's the trade-off, right? So Samir's a better ground defender when he's defending low on the ground and having to tackle, intercept, and that kind of stuff. But Dabila's much better in the air, much more physical like that. Not only is his win percentage higher, but he makes more tackles as well. You might think that somebody makes more tackles might have less, but that's not what's happening here. Dabila, though, has more blocks per 90 by quite a lot, and it could be the fact he's in the middle, but he does, and everything else looks good there as well. So they're quite even. They're just different types of players, aren't they? Headers 1 per 90. So look at this. Dabila has 21 headers that he wins per 90 minutes. Samir has 10. That's crazy. And again, Dabila plays in the middle, that's why he's getting more. But it's again just showing that that's probably more important for us then, to make sure our middle centre-back is good in the air. Maybe more than maybe even more than the average that we take out. I am looking at this thinking I might actually use this 3-team average strategy as well as stag stats. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this. And if we round up then with Lafort at left centre-back, not too much stands out really with him. His tackle 1 ratio is even better than Samir's. He has slightly less tackles 1 per 90 though. More interceptions than Samir, but less than the middle centre-back. And less pressures, but a much significantly better header 1 ratio than Samir, and 4 more headers 1 per 90 than Samir as well. Okay, then next, let's look at the wing-backs. We have got Kofi, who's got 9 assists this season. Hajam's got 7. That's crazy. That's so good from them. So neither of them have scored, but they've got a 17 and 31% shot accuracy ratio. Non-penalty XG, so Hajam gets into slightly better scoring areas, but open play key passes per 90 goes massively to Hajam, incidentally. Chances created goes to Hajam. Progressive passes goes to Hajam. Dribbles per 90 goes to Hajam. Crosses completed per 90 goes to Hajam. And cross completion goes to Hajam. So in every single metric, Hajam is better than Kofi. In possession. This is in possession. Hajam's an actual fullback, a wingback. Kofi's a winger. But Kofi has got more assists. And I'm not saying Kofi's bad, by the way. I actually think Kofi's been amazing for us, as we've seen in the games on camera. But it's just showing that Hajam Goes a little bit more under the radar, does Hadjam, but he's just as effective. And in fact, statistically, he's a lot more effective. So that's interesting. Defensively, so Hadjam's got a better tackle-on ratio. Tackles less per 90, though. Has a lot more blocks per 90, more interceptions per 90, slightly less pressures. They're both the same in the air. They both win 80% of their headers. Now, that is a massive testament to Kofi because he's a winger. He's an out-and-out winger in the game. Yeah, and distance covered per 99 miles a match, 8.9 miles a match. That's really, really impressive. Like, those two are both playing outstanding. Now, I'm just going to try and compare it to somebody in the other teams. Bordeaux play a 4. Does anybody else play a back 3? Nobody really at the top. So let's just take Bordeaux's fullbacks then. So yeah, significantly less here. I mean, even like in the air, their left back is significantly worse than Kofi in the air, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Tackle-on ratio is slightly worse. Like, I don't think they're much better than our wing-backs at all. So that's interesting. A lot less distance cover per 90 because they're playing as full-backs, not wing-backs. And that is the thing, right? It's going to be hard for us to sort of use that. We're going to have to look at maybe wingers as well. But that's why 3 at the back isn't the best one to do from a pure Moneyball perspective. You're going to have to be a lot more intelligent about what you do. You need to look for attacking wing-backs or wingers to play the wing-back role, right? Because there could be a winger that's really good at like dribbling, he's really good at crossing, etc., but he's just not good at XG. He doesn't get into scoring areas, he doesn't score his chances, but he's really good at dribbling, crossing, and creating. That could be a wing-back, right? Playing from wide. Let's see if they've got one of these. So I would say these two are more like inside forwards because they can't cross to save their life. Look at that. 9%. Come on, lads. Professional footballers here. Okay, so that guy looks pretty good, but he scored a load of goals. So it could be a waste as a wing-back, but I would look at this guy here potentially. I'm seeing a lot of like wide players scoring for other teams now. I mean, we're taking the piss here. Martin here has got a 2% cross completion. Oh, come on, Martin. He completes 0.22 crosses per night. He basically does nothing. He just basically stays out there on the left wing, bundles 2 goals home and does nothing else. So if we take this guy here, he looks a pretty good candidate for a wing-back role for us because does he create and dribble? Does pretty well on that. Can he tackle? He's a wing-back now. Can he tackle? Yes. He can tackle. He does tackle a lot. Good. Okay, can he head? No. So there you go. That's where the issue would be for him is that he can't head, so he would not be really a good option to play wing-back, but you could risk it. If you felt like that he performed well enough here, that makes up for that, then you could still pull the trigger on that transfer, but I probably wouldn't at this stage. Okay, then pivot players. Let's actually highlight a few of these because there's been 3 of them that's been sort of rotating around. So let's have a look then. Let's have a look at creative stuff first, actually. So let's have a look at dribbles per 90. You can see that whoever plays that left CDM role seems to be the one that dribbles a lot less, which is sort of understandable. Not just in terms of the role they have, but also the space in front. Right, I spoke about that before in an earlier episode. Open play key passes. So it's spread across the 3 quite evenly. Now, Bernau's only played left CDM. Iglesias only played right CDM, and Piri's played both, so that's why Piri is the most balanced. So it's sometimes difficult because of that. Because they play slightly different positions, it's hard to get the stats nailed completely down, but it's still interesting to see overall, because it's like, okay, so look at Iglesias. Header-1 ratio, 77, 59, 31. One of these is not like the other. 31% Iglesias. Are you taking the piss, mate? Centre mid. CDM. I'm disgusted. That's why you're out. That's why you're not the starter anymore. Okay, tackle-1 ratio. What are we doing, Jonathan? 58%. So he's basically going up there, letting them win the ball in the air. Then it drops on the floor. He lets them win the tackle as well. What are we doing, Jonathan? I swear to God, you better be high on these stats here. Open play, key passes per 90. No, not even good on that. Right, you can see why I dropped Jonathan. Now, I didn't actually look at his stats. That is not why I dropped him originally. This was the first time I wanted to look at the stats and maybe make some team selections based on the stats. And so far, the players have looked pretty good across the board, except for this. And you can see here that Jonathan Iglesias is far, far underperforming in his statistical output compared to Piri and Bernal. So this is where the Moneyball system comes in, right? So the Moneyball system for us is about recruiting players and using stats only to buy players, recruit players. But importantly, we're also going to team select players based on stats. So Iglesias is out as a starter. That's happening. He's gone. There's no way we can put up with that. And again, right, it's about balance. If he's not going to perform here, that's okay to a point, but then he has to be performing here. But Piri here is outperforming him here and then in possession as well. So he's better in every department at the moment. So there you go. He's played a lot less. He's played like half the starts, but okay, my 2 number 10s, Chihiri and Cabal. We have got, let's have a look at this. Quite similar in terms of starts. Minutes is slightly different. So open play key passes then is marginally towards Chihiri. Chances created per 90 goes to Chihiri as well. Passes, don't really care about that one. Dribbles per 90 goes to Chihiri. He has played wingback a little bit, but not too often. Dribbles per 90 goes to him, so then crosses completed per 90 goes to him, and cross completion does go to Cabal. Defensively goes to Chihiri. So you can see here, on the basis of that, I'd have to say that Chihiri is the starter. He's more creative, he wins more headers, he wins more tackles. Every single thing almost he does better than Cabal. So, and you can see average rating 6.59, 6.93. I already did start to think about this. Again, not looking at the stats. Before I'd even looked at the stats, I had like a feeling of watching Cabal play. He wasn't really getting the output that I wanted. But from a stats point of view and from a statistical point of view, he's definitely the better option, Cherry, isn't he? Like, it's obvious there. So that's going to be another one where we're going to do that. And that's going to be another starter there. So you can see already there, the first team's starting to look a little different, isn't it? We've got Piri now in there. We're going to have Chihiri in there. Gory's already replaced Hamel before that. And let's move on to the strikers now. These are the three we've used. I mean, just looking at goals scored is pretty good there. Shot on target ratio, 68%. I've got to be honest. Those of you that have been with me for a few Moneyball saves, how many times have we seen an AI striker get something like this? Well, we've looked at them and they've got some random AI strikers who've got like nearly 70% shot on target ratio. And we're like, that never happens to us. It has now. Morgan's got 68%. Conversion ratio of 32%. Non-XG per 90 is 0.74, although Hamels is pretty good with that. Dribbles per 90 is pretty similar across the board. It's interesting that both the Gory and Hamel have had the same dribbles per 90, even though they're probably quite different in attributes, I would have thought, and when we look at them at a later date. They're just completely different types of player. Look at the coach report. Good in the air, doesn't mention pace. Lack of flair, though, hinders him. That tells me what kind of striker he is and target forward. There you go. And then you look at Gory. Play positions, possess a fair amount of pace, you know? So, aerial ability. So, Gory's got the least amount of header-1 ratio. Okay, I thought maybe high-intensity sprints per 90 combined with distance covered per 90 might give us like an indication of how maybe fast the player is, potentially. But if we assume that Gory is quicker than how much I think he is, that does not compute. Okay, one huge thing to mention, and that is the fact that there are two different types of match engines in Football Manager. You have the match engine, you have the quick match engine, right? Those are two different things. And what is the difference? So adding a league as playable does not necessarily mean it's going to play the game in the match engine. So in my detail level here, if I go to my detail level, you can see here France in my own league, it has detail level, all competitive matches, right? But if I was to go to the Premier League, it has none. What that means is I've got the league loaded so I can see all the stats properly, which is what I want to be able to see. And it will simulate it a bit more correctly and a bit more realistically in terms of how a lot of the league gets simulated, which is why I want the leagues loaded. But it won't simulate the full match. It will simulate the quick match. And how can you tell the difference between those two things? As simple as this, really. If you're on the quick match engine, when you click onto a game, it will appear as this. And there'll be no option, though, to watch the highlights or save the match, right? So you can't do it. If I go to one of my own games here, I can click on a random game. I can save match and watch goals. And just to prove it again, I'll pick somebody else in my league. Let's pick Bordeaux's last game. Again, save match, watch goals, right? So that's the full ME. Now, the reason I mentioned that is because it will affect a little bit of how the stats are going to be calculated, right? So there's sort of two ways you can do it, right? If you've got a really powerful machine, you can just go full detail every league possible and put in as many as you want. Now, for most people, though, you haven't got the machine to do that. So what I've done is I've deliberately set it up for how I think most people would have to set theirs up for a save like this. So although I've got all these leagues loaded from these countries, I've got them all set to the quick match engine because I think for most people doing it, that's what you're going to have to do. The negative of having them in the full match engine is it takes a lot longer to process. So even though I've got a machine that should be able to handle it, I've deliberately kept it to how I think most other people are going to have to do it if you're playing along at home to sort of keep me on the same level with everybody else here. So I think it's the fairest way to do it. And the reason I want all of them in the quick match engine, not just one or two, for example, like I could put the Premier League and the German League in full match engine. The reason I'm not is it's a lot easier then. If I know my league's the only league that's in full match engine, everybody else is in quick match engine, it's a lot easier then to like measure their stats against the other leagues that we're not playing in, right? If I've got only a few, then a few I don't, it becomes more messy, right? So I think it's just the better way to do it. Hopefully that made sense. I thought I'd point that out because I do see on the comments on the forums every year, people aren't actually aware of that. And that is the big difference between the two. And it's completely up to you how you play the game normally. Like, you can go into the detail level. This is what this is here for. It's so you can customize and have it set up exactly the way you want it to be. And it's dependent on how you want your save to go and how quick your machine is and that kind of stuff, right? It's there to utilize and enhance your experience however you want to set it up. So there you go. So with that being said then, let's take a look at two different strikers that play decent teams that are more possession-based in their style of football, but one is a quick striker and one is not necessarily a quick striker, or not at least with express pace. So Haaland's our quick striker here. So we have got distance covered per 90 is only 7 miles. and his high intensity sprints is 5.36. Now let's just take Gabriel Jesus as a good example. So 7.4 and 6.98. Now there's a lot of other things that can play and have an effect in that. Distance covered per 90, sprints per 90, offside. Offside is 5. What else can we look at here? Non-penalty XG per 90. So let's have a look at all of those. You got 7.4, 6.98, 5, and then 0.44. 7, 5.36, 9 more offsides, and non-penalty XG, so it's close. I mean, that's very difficult because it's going to be very dependent on the team they play in. Are they playing in a team that's a really good team? Are they getting more chances on goal, which is where this might come in? But it could also be that they play in a team that is like a mid-table team, but is very direct. This might be slightly higher. But yeah, so far, offside is the only thing I've seen that's a good correlation of it, comparing those two players. Offside, Firmino's 4. That's okay, because that goes in line. He's even slower than Jesus. Jesus has 5. I think Jesus has like 15s for pace acceleration, maybe 15, 16 now. But he's not as fast as Haaland. So Jamie Vardy's actually their starting striker at Leicester, and he's actually got 9 offsides. That is still computing actually quite directly at the moment. Now, I don't know if Raheem Sterling has played striker the entire time. Let's just see, actually. He has. So Sterling's played as a striker, and he's had 14 offsides. Okay, so far, offside seems like the biggest indicator if they're actually really quick. Antonio's down to 4. I'm telling you now, this is looking good. Right, Martial is 5. What is Martial this year? I can't really remember off the top of my head, so I'm not sure if that computes. And to be fair, though, nothing's going to be an exact science where, like, one rule fits everybody. So there's going to be outliers. So it's not about saying, here's the magic formula. Everybody that has over 9 offsides is really fast. So there's going to be the odd slow player who's going to have loads. And there's going to be the odd quick player who's going to be really far under. That's just the way that these sort of things are going to go. But you're basically trying to narrow it down. But so far, I think XG, non-penalty XG, and offside seem to be 2 good ones to link together. Okay, so there you go. Harry Kane's got 8, and we know Harry Kane is not fast in Football Manager at all. I am seeing a correlation between sprints per 90 and the highest scoring players in the teams, I think, a little bit. So yeah, the 3 strikers, what you're seeing here is, I think, that Morgan is in like a class of his own. And the other 2 actually are quite close, aren't they, to be fair, in a lot of departments. Because the 2 right strikers are so close on the other stats, I just want to plug them into FM Stag's baseline stats here and see what we get. So for a striker goal scorer, which is basically the side that he is, he could be either, I suppose, really. But let's just take goal scorer first. Again, this is matching him up to the top 5 leagues in Europe. So he would score below the scale for headers 1 per 90. Expected assists, he would be below the scale. Non-penalty XG is pretty good, but that's because the team he plays in. Shot on target per 90 is bang average in the middle. Conversion rate is pretty much bang average. So not great, but not the worst. Headers 1 per 90 below the scale. Expected assists per 90 below the scale. Non-penalty XG, actually bang in the middle. Shots on target per 90, bang in the middle. Conversion rate, top of the class. So what's the big difference between Gory and Hamill? Conversion rate. Conversion ratio, 18%, 28%. That's a huge difference. And his shot on target ratio is better. So yeah, I think Gory is minorly the better player there. Although Hamill's done a lot better statistically than I thought he had with my eyes watching the game. So there you go. That's what this series is all about. So I think that's going to round up our halfway point of the season. So what we're going to see in January. So okay, so this view here is now going to be out straight after this recording. I'm going to make sure I upload it immediately and put it in the comments of the video before. And I'll try to put it in this one as well, just so you know this one is going to be there. I think I'll have to spend some time creating the scouting views for the transfer window. I'm not too sure if I'll get it done for the January because I'm not sure what we're going to look at. I think I'll tell you what I might do. I might create one view for the striker first because that's where we're going to start. We're going to look for a striker. So I'll create my striker's view first and I'll make sure that's all done correctly and properly so you can see it in its full glory and I'll work backwards from there. I'll then go down to a 10, like a box-to-box player, a holding midfield player, wing-back, centre-backs, goalkeeper. And if I change formation to a full-backs, then that's what I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But I'll do that for now in the January. So in the January, we're going to make sure we have that view. If I do look for another position, I will make a view for that as well. But I'm not going to make all of them just yet. We'll save that for the end of the season, and we can go through it and do like an episode on it towards the end when hopefully we've been promoted, but we don't know that just yet. That's going to do the episode. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're enjoying the series. I'm absolutely loving this series. I love Moneyball. I love Football Manager, and I'll see you all next time.